Well, joining me now is Jonathan Nicholas. He's the CEO of the Inspire Foundation. It's an organisation which provides mental health and wellbeing support to young people, and we were here to discuss these changes to Victorian bullying laws. But let me first ask you about this situation. The Minister absolutely furious that a situation like this can develop. What are your thoughts?
I think the Minister is completely correct to be outraged. My heart goes out to the young woman. She's 18, and 18-year-olds face a whole range of challenges that older people may be able to cope with. So I think the real question here is, what are we doing to be of assistance to that 18-year-old young woman? Does she have the right supports around her? And what can we do to support the family as well, that will also be dealing with all the challenges that go along with this, let alone the extra media scrutiny that will really be focused around this issue.
Earlier today, the Defence Minister was saying that she's being provided with all of the support and assistance from the Defence Force, but now there's questions being raised about when was she granted compassionate leave, was she knocked back when she first asked about it. He's very upset about this and saying, look, she couldn't make clear, sensible judgments about these other matters on a day like today. I would imagine that a lot of young people, not only in the Defence Force but in many different professions, find themselves under this similar enormous pressure at times.
Absolutely. I mean, my career has been really about helping young people experiencing incredibly tough times, young people who are feeling suicidal and the like. And when someone is under immense external pressure, whether they be young or old, it affects your judgments. And it's really in that context that we need to make sure that we keep them safe, that we allow them to have a sense of control over their life again. Because the likely experience of this young woman is life is spinning out of control, and to have extra pressure put on top of that is at the very least not helpful.
Let's talk about the situation in Victoria. It's about to become the first state to criminalise workplace bullying. These are laws that unfortunately arose out of the tragic suicide of a 19-year-old woman who'd been bullied at the cafe where she worked. How much of a deterrent do you think these workplace bullying laws are going to be in Victoria? They will carry a penalty of up to 10 years in jail.
I think the question around the deterrence value is how well they're communicated. If someone doesn't realise there's an added penalty, then they have no deterrence value. So I think there's a particular challenge now in Victoria to communicate these changes in law, if they come about, to employers, to make sure employers have an onus on communicating it to their staff members on what will and won't be tolerated.
Because I imagine enforcement, or how do you even check that something like this, verify that something like this has happened?
Absolutely, and I think the real question is bullying flourishes in environments that condone bullying. And I think the great thing about the Minister's response to this, and as he said, if it's being supported by the ADF leaders and others, is what they're really saying is we don't condone it. And when you set that sort of example from the top, then what you will find over time is, yes, there may be isolated incidents, but a culture of victimisation is unlikely to develop. And I think that's the real question that will emerge out of these laws.
In Victoria, do you think that these laws, as I said, the 10-year jail sentence for workplace bullying, should they be adopted by other Australian states?
Well, I think it's important to work out, is this criminalisation approach the right approach? And is it successful? I think what this presents an opportunity for is where there are allegations of victimisation, and bullying in this context is really about persistent victimisation with the aim of causing psychological harm. What is it that police can do to intervene and interview in that environment? And I think these laws really open up that opportunity. Whether they're successful or not, I think we'll wait to see.
From your experience, I mean, how common is this issue of workplace bullying, or there's got to be such a fine line between young people being ordered around by a boss, by a supervisor, by a senior staffer, and when they actually cross the line? How often do you think young people feel that workplace bullying has crossed the line?
I don't think it's pervasive across the community. That said, at reachout.com, which is an online mental health service that we run, I looked at the number of times this year that our fact sheet on workplace bullying has been accessed. It's been accessed over 46,000 times. So that gives you some extent of the number of people who really are looking for information and support around this issue. And I think that, again, the real thing we have to concentrate on is where an interaction is designed to cause psychological harm. And that's pretty hard to mistake. You can't accidentally, really, over a period of time, cause psychological harm without the culture really permitting it.
All right, Jonathan Nicholas, the CEO of the Inspire Foundation, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.